just sitting here talking to myself and forgot to hit the go live. So anyway, so I was just taking off my brace because I totaled my Forerunner last week in a really bad car accident. 4 days after blowing a tire out on 95, going to speak to Moms for Liberty in Spotsylvania. So I don't know if you believe in the devil and God doing his thing. Ow. But yeah. So anyway, I've been kind of silent because I have a broken hand. But I had to take my brace off so I could type. But I've been doing a lot of talking about data. Because everything that we're fighting all comes down to one thing: data. Whether it's social emotional learning, whether it's school climate, whether it's comprehensive based sex education, anything that we are fighting, none of it matters. None of it exists without assessments and without data collection. None of it. The schools are doing their best to hide how to protect your children. So I am a 100% at this point, I am an abolitionist. Thanks, Deb, for that term. But is that it is so far gone. It has been going on for so long that I really don't believe at the moment, or maybe in the next decade or 20 years, maybe by the time I have grandchildren, we can save. And when I say save public education, I mean save it to the point to where our children are not monetized and are not cogs to create artificial intelligence. See, my bruises from the car accident. But so is that in order to make it safe, and that's not just physically safe, I'm talking about removing all of this madness. And trust me, when this comes down to politics, believe me, politics, I don't politic. And you've got both sides of the fence in this game. You've got the left, the right, the middle. But I don't know how many of you watch Peaky Blinders, but I was watching it the other night, and he was talking about how when you go so far left and you go so far right, at some point they will circle around and meet in the middle. And that is what I believe in my heart, is that the data piece of this is where we come together. And it's exactly what I told Jillian Balow and Amy Gadara and all of them at the VDOE last week, is that they have divided us by skin color, by what's between our legs or is not. They have as I would like to say, because that's what it is, gaslit, whatever. They have created such a division of us as parents that nobody can see the end game. The end game where the 1% wins. When I say the 1%, I'm not talking about just the Bill Gates and the Chan Zuckerbergs, okay? I'm talking about the Cox. I'm talking about the DeVos. I'm talking about all of them. And if you think that Youngkin and Amy Gadara and Data Quality Campaign are not a piece of this, sorry about your luck, okay? I had to swallow a big dose of humility when I realized that the man that I could still walk up to this day, and if he's watching, I could say, Glenn, we need to talk. Because on the campaign trail, I told him, do not make me believe that a man of God who wants abortion gone, who's so hard against abortion, is okay with this. Because believe me, he is. Because I have the World Economic Forum he attended regarding social emotional learning. So, but I won't go, that'll be another show. But this one, I wanted to show you guys how I find web apps that your school's using. Because in order to, one, remove them, you can't just write so if you go to vafcf.org, there's the student data privacy manual. And you can opt your kid out of all of these. But in order to do so, you have to first know what web apps are used. Because don't let them tell you the county, the city you live in, the independent whatever, locality, they don't own the data, okay? These multiple web apps, contracts, they have the data. So the school, if they want the data, they have to go ask the contractor, the third-party vendor, for the data, okay? So you can opt your kid out, but you can't do it if you don't know what the web apps are, because when you send a letter, you have to know explicitly what web apps are used. You can also, now it's only children under 13, we can contact, where you can message me to work with contacting the FTC, Lena Khan, because they've made a statement on this recently in the last 2 months on, okay, because FTC controls COPPA. COPPA is the one where you can, one, find out what data for your child under the age of 13. Now they hold on to it for 75 years. So don't let them tell you that even if your child is 17, you can't get the data that's been collected in a public school system on your child prior, because it's held for 75 years. In the state of Virginia, that's in the Library of Virginia. I'll show you that. But what's interesting is the one county, that I've been able to find that has done this correctly is, believe it or not, Fairfax. So I'll show you real quick. I'm just going to show you like this. All right. So Fairfax does it correctly. They send you a list of the web apps used, and they send you the ability to, now they have links. They don't tell you everything you need to know about these companies. They do give you the companies used, and they do give you links, and they give you the ability to opt out. Now, why isn't everybody required to do it this way? Because our wonderful Seced Cardona writes these wonderful best practices, and I'll show you those too, for FERPA and for COPPA, how you should best notify for transparency parents on the data collection. Now, after listing even a sample letter that you should send your schools, each superintendent, okay, so this isn't just the state superintendent like Balo or Lane was. This is each individual superintendent of each individual county, locality, city that you live in gets one of these letters under best practices. But at the bottom, it also says, but you can also put it on your website, buried in data privacy, whatever you want to bury it in. It's not in those terms, but essentially, so that's what these counties have done. So I want to show you real quick. This is the way that I found. That's not what I want. Sorry, I always do this. Fairfax. Okay. So this is how they notify. They send out a letter, and I apologize that it's not better, but I didn't save it. But you can see here that they send a letter, and then they send the web apps. So you got Class Dojo. If you guys don't know about Class Dojo, it's the first one when you see that little ninja man. When they talk about badging, Class Dojo is one that as soon as you see that, I would make everything known immediately how to get my kid out. because Class Dojo is real time. Now, my daughter had it. She's 12 now when we were over in Henrico. And I thought it was so cool because I was ignorant for a long time too. And when I say ignorant, I don't mean stupid. I just mean asleep at the wheel. Like I did. La, 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 la. Class Dojo. I thought it was so cool that I could get real time behavior assessment of what my child, real time on my phone, sitting at home, pregnant. Oh, my kindergartner is misbehaving. Oh, there she is again. Oh, not paying attention when she's reading. Not realizing that that's going that's going somewhere. And they get those badges. So when we talk about badging, a lot of it happens in elementary school. Those badges. We're not literally talking about like the badges. That's a different kind that they're using too, but that's a physical. These are like badges like, oh, you got the green monster or the red monster. Yay, purple monster. Those badging is something that's part of data collection that goes into their little locker, big locker by the time they're out. And it creates this, what we're seeing is that it creates a social credit score. There's no other way. I don't even know how else to call it. And it's generational. When I say that, I mean, in the Library of Virginia, 75 years after graduation. So you take 18 years old plus 75 years before that data is destroyed. Generational is, we have created a generational data system. So when you have children, your data will then be connected to your children. When they have children, so, and then it's a cycle. It becomes generational social credit score. We are in China, people. We are in the Republic Communist of the United States of China. Welcome. Yes, we are here. And they think it's great because you can't have any of this without data. Data, none of it. You can't have equity without data. You can't have anything that they claim benefits anybody without data. And guess what? They're still collecting data on all those children. And the thing is that the Democrats, Elizabeth Warren, they all get it. Why? Because they may only care about transgender children in gender crisis. They may only care about those children. But the way that these, what I've been talking to you, screaming about these threat assessment teams that have been in play in every school since 2013 in Virginia, is that they have a set of words. So yeah, it is flagging. It's the only probably marginalized thing that I'll agree with, because children in gender crisis are going to look for specific words. It's going to flag those words. Gaggle, securely. We'll go over all the four main one. Bark. There's 4 different ones that I found mainly. So they pay people $10 an hour. That's when you see the word subcontractor or they pay people look up gaggle. And $10 an hour to sit at home while they're looking for another job. Sit at home. Sorry, let me finish this. So sit at home, and then, okay, here's the other piece. Okay, so this is Khan Academy is another one that these are all probably Fairfax. Now Fairfax, Loudoun, Chesterfield, the big ones, though they have the most stuff going on, they're probably the most arrogant because they were like, yes, there you are. There's my man, Company Beagles. I would love I want to know how to do this. If you want to jump in, let me know. Padlet, Quizlet, Remind, No Red Ink. Okay, so these are ones that you're going to see over and over. Notice, though, that there's no notification. Fairfax uses Panorama. Prince William uses most places use Panorama. You don't see that here. That's because that's what they're going to, the part of, there is an SEL, quote unquote, boop, just the course the second step, because there is a form. My daughter's principal didn't know about it. You go to again to the VA-FCF page. All 50 states have your SEL. It's in Parent Parental Toolkit, but they're all 50 states are there. You can opt your kids out. But I might add, it's not that easy because it is embedded. Literally, they use the term embedded into every course. Math, basket weaving. I've shown you all example after example of my daughter's English class. The Giver, 25 questions on a book, had 6 questions, 4 to 6 questions on her emotional, family, political, using that term loosely, religious beliefs, protection of People's Rights Amendment. Guys, there are things that you can do, and that's what I want y'all to understand. So real quick, so this is how Fairfax notifies with a letter. Now I haven't dug in, and I have Fairfax. I'm going to show you all your stuff. Loudon, Prince William, I got all of it. Even found fuck yours. Smaller counties are harder to find because they don't use their own procurement department. They use something called the EVA portal, which is a beast to navigate. And it is a pain in the butt. But you should be able to find your web apps buried in your county page. So anybody that wants to go searching before I get to your county and see if you can find it, I will then. Oh, God, look at that. So many pictures. I've started to work on mind maps of how all this is interconnected. And it is quite a hot mess. All right, so I wanted to show you guys this too. So this is the social emotional screener opt-out. They actually give them the letter. And it tells them that students... Anyway, I gotta get to save these. Anyway, I'll jump out real quick. But so they send, I may have been a little video, is it? Nope. But they send you a letter stating that the social emotional screener, they don't tell you what that screener is. Yeah, we gotta do a show soon. I'm with you. But the big thing here is when you get in is that if you can't pull your kids out, because I pulled mine out and I'm getting ready to start bartending and waiting tables again, because that's how I'm going to take care of my kids, is I'm going to make it work because we can't afford it. I vetted every private school there is. One question: did you take the money? What money? The ARP money. Yes, but nope. There is no yes, but. If any private school took EANS, which is the non-public school way and that's like higher education. Here, they bought the colleges, they bought the private schools, they did all that. Why? Because it's all going to be public education. Private schools, that's why you see private schools, they got masked. Private schools that are teaching is because there were stipulations that came along with taking that money. Go to vafcf.org and read the Road to Reopening. It's the blue. I read them all. And just click on the links. Let them tell you who they are. They tell you. That they will literally tell you. So while I pull up, let me see here. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to real quick go to, let's see, who do I want to open? Let's open up a random county. Let's open up Chesterfield because that was so hard for me to find. As I try to type with my broken hand. So Chesterfield, type in your county, public schools. So Now, who knows if it's still there, because 2 weeks ago I had a meeting with all the who's who and decided that I was done with it. And if they're so proud of it, then why are you hiding it if it's so great? Just like I did with the books. So you'll pull up your page and let's see. They all look different. Oh, they've redone it. Look at that. I wonder if they made it. Oh, look, standing together. They don't care about Governor Youngkin. We're still equity, equity, equity. Imagine tomorrow. There's so much equity here. Let's see. Internet privacy. I'm trying to think where would I go usually? Like something like this is where I would usually look. And so when I tell you guys about open government, like we just saw the open government stuff, uses of data collected to our website. So they're even telling you, it's like I shared, I don't know if y'all saw it, the thing from the Chesterfield government that was like, sign up for this app. No. Do not sign up for any app connecting you to anything. But we automatically collect. This isn't just going on their website, guys. But my belief is that I'm not going to worry about who's collecting data on me because they've been doing it for so long. But this is stuff that they consider this notifying you. Oh, nope, not here. So let's go to compliance. I remember sitting by the pool a couple weeks ago and I was like, you know what? I know what they are because I know where to find the contracts, but I've never actually gone in to see. And before I have this meeting tomorrow, I want to find out how hard it is. Nope. Open government. Oh, this is what I told you. Online checkbook. If you guys don't have this, sorry to is that you can download, which I did, and we have, and you don't even really have to. You can see every check supposedly that your school, and that's again vendor payments. So you could look. That's another way that you could do it if you can't find your contracts, is find vendor payments. But let's go back to, because I want to find and show you how long it took me to find our web apps. And it was probably the hardest to find out of all of them that I looked for. I still can't find it. Schools. Hiring for school, primary school. Virtual options. That may be it. Instructional technology. I think that's it. And I think that's it. Anyway, that's weird. I'm just going to search for what I found. I ended up finding it. I don't know where. Oh, here it is. Chromebook. Oh, here we go. Chromebook deployment is where I found it. But this is where you can find a lot of info too, about Lexia, Dreambox, stuff that, oh, then you automatically know. G Suite. That's what they've renamed Google. Google Classroom is now G Suite. Check it out with G Suite. Are you kidding? Yeah, they've totally redone this website. Google Docs. So anyway, if you aren't, if you're not, if having Google attached to what your child does doesn't make you go, it should. I'm just going to search for tester fields because this is getting on my nerves. Guys, a lot of times this is what I do. Okay, I'm going to move on from tester field and I'll come back because I don't want to waste, I don't want to y'all to get like, yeah. All right, so, let's see. So anyway, now that fuck year's here, I went to fuck year, and while searching for Loudoun, so guys, if you type in your county, your city, whatever, type in procurement, because that's what contracts are under. If you type in sole source contracts, because as I showed y'all, that's sole source contracts are meant to be like emergencies. That bids and contracting and negotiations is all part of how contracts for a county should work. All of these are sole source, which means it's Committee for Children, it's Panorama, it's all of these web apps. They're not bidding for anything because they all have to be what? Castle aligned. They know what they want. So they're issuing it. It has to be one of these 40 people. So, but here is fuck year. I have not gone through this. I just looked through it. So I'm just going to, we'll actually post it in the comments. But I'm going to just, before I'm going to go through and show y'all things that I would look for and what I look for. So you've got, a lot of it is going to see. No, they're already fuck your county government. See, sometimes the government, textbooks. Savas is one that you need to know because it's part of Pearson, formerly Pearson. You're going to see Pearson all over these. Houghton Mifflin, McGraw-Hill. These are all, they look like, it's just a textbook on world history. But, here we go. Savas, Pearson. Is that it doesn't matter whether it's a textbook or not. It's data collection. Okay. So all of these textbooks and all of these, Houghton Mifflin is one. So all of these textbooks, and again, this is fuck year, are ones that I would be like, okay, Pearson is one. If you don't know who Pearson or what Pearson does, should really look into that. But trying to find another one that wouldn't normally jump out. All right, sorry, fuck you. I looked, and I found, and I will find you more later, but I do want to jump into what I did find, real quick. So, all right, I'm gonna stop sharing real quick. So the important thing, and I'm going to share, with you guys, is this one right here. Is that this is the EVA Prince William portal. So this is Prince William. Now EVA is a pain in the butt to try to navigate. But so this would be Prince William County Schools contracts. So you can, they don't want you to be able to find it easily. And I just literally went through one by one by one by one. And was like, what's that? But where's the one I wanted to show you? So they've got all the food. Instructional supplies. That one's great. Instructional materials. Scholastic is a big one. No red ink is a big one. Imagine Learning. Instructional materials is something that you definitely want to look at. And we'll go back up to the ones. But these are the big, like right here. And you'll see how they're all under one contract. But the thing is that, see right here, this is who they listed the vendor as. But when you click on the actual contract number, it's not everybody they listed here. So Kaplan is a big one. Kaplan, like Apperson and Houghton Mifflin and all them, they're ones that used to produce actual paper textbooks. So they had to regroup when we went to one-to-one personalized learning. And everything went to, whether it's a Chromebook, an iPad, or whatever, they had to adapt. And so they became part of textbooks data mining. So, I don't know a lot of these, but I will tell you this, is that there's not one of these that isn't connected to one of the big ones with, I would say, 4 degrees of separation is what 3 is as far as I've gotten. And then there's this one. Center for Collaborative Classroom is one that you guys need to know. So Center for Collaborative Classroom, and then you can open it up. So this is the master, which isn't going to work because so here's Center for Collaborative Classroom. Center for Collaborative Classroom is one of the ones that it says school equipment, teaching aids, and supplies. That just sounds so non-complicated. Now, that's all they'll give you, I think. I don't know if they'll give you anymore. Yep. Nope, they don't want to give you any more information. But I have our contracts for Center for Collaborative Classroom. So at least you know that you have Center for Collaborative Classroom, which is one of the big ones. And then you've got internet database subscription. I find interesting why there's a lot of those in there, though, that are not. But I found this while scrolling through Prince William, or through the EBA, looking for other counties' information. And here's McGraw-Hill, multiple. Naviance is another big one, which is by Power School Group. So that's another one, because you'll find it listed in like 8 different ways. Like, so, oh, this one actually gives you information. Oh, Naviance Middle School, $250,000. $250,000. Okay. This is a completely different part of it. So they all contain $137,000. So you can start to add up the money, and then you can start to ask, and you can write Karen Sobers, because you'll find the same people are associated with the same types of contracts. But start asking the questions of, what are we spending $250,000 on? Because none of it has improved anything. None of it's improved anything. Have your county scores, grades gone up? No, they've just collected more data. Why? Okay, the whole argument behind evidence-based, and the reason that FERPA gives them the ability to collect, thank you, Obama, the ability to collect our children's data, is because it's going to be used to create a system of interconnecting that is able to produce something. It's been going on so long that we have to start asking the question, what is it producing besides scores that are going to affect our children's future? It hasn't changed the state of education. It hasn't helped education. So at some point we have to start asking the question and forcing the answer. When do we see the data raw, not interpreted by somebody else, because it's going to always interpret what they want, is that your school fails in equity, your school is horrifically racist, and everything you do, that's what it's going to tell you. That's what all this millions of dollars that we're spending, it's not going to tell you how to better teach. It's going to tell you need more data. But real quick, professional development. I would look up every single one of these people on this list. If you're in Prince William, here it is. And here's the link for Prince William, because I don't have the time to research everybody's county. But if I saw this list of professional research or professional development, and one of them, Pearson, the Anti-Defamation League. My eyeballs just caught that. Under professional development, the ADL. Active. So it's active. If you know a little bit about these people, their intent versus what they are now, and why in the world would you want professional development through them, is a question that I would ask just by looking at yours real quick. But so here, you get all these different professional development. Oh, more professional development. Center for Creative Leadership. I would look that up. And here is American Institute for Research, funded by Bill Gates. Professional development. AIR, I can get into a whole different show about. But seeing that here, that was an alarm bells to me. Because look up American Institute for Research and look up how much, you'll find exactly what these people are and what they believe. So if you're okay with your teachers being taught about next gen learning, 21st century skills, how to make your children cogs in a world that they will no longer belong in because it's so dystopian in 20 years, 10 years. Okay, but AIR, big problems for me. So Pearson, again, so I talked to Spotsylvania and they just have Pearson listed under their web apps. I said, you can't just have Pearson and that's the only information they give you. What Pearson? God, y'all, man, Prince William, y'all got a lot of professional development, which could be a good thing. But yeah, here's the Anti-Defamation League. So my mind's kind of blown right there. What is public safety and related? Not what I was looking for. But Scholastic comes up a lot. You need to know Scholastic. Where is one that Achieve 3000. That's one that is a major red flag. Software. See that one right there, man? Virginia, the VSBA is a vendor that they use. And I know which one it is. It's Board Docs. board docs because they partner with board docs. So the fact that it's listed as a vendor is a problem with me because you'll see it here. They charge. So they're paying the VSBA. The counties are paying board docs under the vendor name is VSBA. Okay. They're paying. So and this is just anybody that has board docs, I've known that's a VSBA. You can look at the VSBA site and down at the bottom, partners with board docs. So they're paying the VSBA who lobbies far left. Okay. That would be like paying the VEA, which who knows, we probably could, to use a software who lobbies one way for all the madness. So your school's funding the VSBA and they haven't pulled out of the NSBA yet. So let's just be real clear that here it is. To use board docs, they're paying the VSBA, a lobbying group that there's a whole nother show. But yeah, so I thought I'd seen that. I saw another one too. And then Sole Source. Here's Sole Source. Nearpod is a big one. If you guys don't know about Nearpod, that's one I would put on my list. Renaissance Learning is a big one. Testing. Textbooks again. Textbooks. That's web app because we don't have books anymore. And then I'm gonna. Where's the one I want? I know I saw it on here. Maybe I missed it. Software I would look at, like I said, Achieve 3000. Okay, I'm gonna move on, but okay. So that is Prince William. So, all right. So they have Center for Collaborative Learning, Collaborative Classroom, excuse me. And then we're going to go to Loudoun. But real quick. So Loudoun County, like Virginia Beach, is very open and proud. I don't know if it's proud or, like I said, they have so much other stuff going on. They don't think that anybody is going to notice or pay attention. Is that Loudoun gives you, straight up gives you, okay. So Loudoun, I think I just Googled Loudoun County Public Schools procurement. I don't even know if I got that far. Loudoun County procurement. And so when I did that, it comes up here. And if you don't know what to do or what you're looking for, it can be very daunting. But so I knew I wanted to see Sole Source. And I was like, because there's some counties that are like, nope, we don't have any. And I'm like, yeah, you do. But, and then this is what I showed you guys yesterday. The Sole Source, let's go back real quick. I don't know if they give you the definition. Sole source procurement may be made without formal sealed bidding or competitive negotiations on the basis of a written determination that only one source is practicably applied. It's sole source procurement should be used. Let's see how. That's not it. Sole source procurement is emergencies, but the whole point is that there should always be bidding. There should always be multiple options open. So to have this many sole source contracts for a county, baffled. Like, I was like, wow. Because, okay, so that means all of these, there was no bidding involved. There was no actual procurement. It was sought out. Hey, we want you. Why? If we are so anti one world, anti standardized, do we have this many sole source anything having to do? So that means that they know what they want, and there's a specific purpose for it to have this many sole source. And then you can see the money. So Newzella, $500,000. No Red Ink. I say I round up, $400,000. Okay. That's just the tip of the iceberg of what they're spending. Now I say they, I mean, we all are. Lego. This is the one I was talking about with Youngkin and the Lego factory here in Chesterfield. I'm guaranteeing you that Loudon did not spend $400,000 on Legos. Guaranteeing you that. Lego, look up Lego Metaverse and then Lego Ventures. And I bet you $1 million, not one Lego plastic stacky block is produced here at this Chesterfield factory they're building. Then there's Gaggle. GaggleNet. Guys, this is one that when I started talking about threat assessment teams that have been around since 2013, Gaggle. So here, Gaggle. Okay. Gaggle is the number one. You can look it up. You don't have to be a professional researcher to find this stuff. Gaggle is one that will have people talking about they'll tell you how disturbing it was to work for that company because they get paid $10 an hour, artificial intelligence and algorithms. So if your 12-year-old boy types in something that could be remotely dirty, artificial intelligence red flags it, sends it to these people. These people are paid $10 an hour to have unfettered access to every click, everything our children do. Chesterfield has Gaggle. James Lane was the first person to have a Gaggle in Virginia. Go figure. And then guess what? Here we are across the state. And now he's Cardona's right-hand man. That's another story for another day. I'm not worried about getting Killered anymore. I'm getting worried about getting Lane or Cardona. But $470,000 to pay a company to monitor and flag children. Okay. Threat assessment teams don't work because at the same time you have legislation and you have policies left and right about, you know what, we're not going to report kids for gang violence. You have things, how does threat assessment work when it's like, when I saw in the, was it Winchester Times or whatever about the kill list? The reason the kill list kid didn't get in trouble is because the way the threat assessment team legislation is written is you have to actually inflict bodily damage, physical damage. Tell me how threat assessment is going to help anybody if the kill list doesn't get in trouble until he actually kills somebody. Gaggle's a whole different day. But this is all the Loudoun County Pearson. And there's pages and pages. Here you go. I'll share that with you. My brain is spinning. Pearson. How many times are you going to put Pearson? Edgenuity is a big one. So guys, it's here and it's really not that hard to find. So another one that I wanted to show you guys as soon as I get to it. I'll close that. Fairfax. Sorry. No problem. Fairfax. All right. Fairfax. Here we go. Fairfax is one that even after I found it, I could not figure out how to go back and find it because it was so Fairfax current county contracts, county procurement. And then it's that you can click on current county contracts. And I was like, well, I don't know what to type. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to click submit. There it is, submit. Now, the problem is they don't want you to find it because you can't search more than 10 at a time. So it's extremely frustrating. So, but you can search by, I do contractor name. Maybe. But this is where you can go through and you can start to find them. It's tedious. I promise you. I think, but I did find, I know that you guys use all of the big ones. The most is that people have to start noticing what to look for. Is that when you see mental health, anything, mental health, you should start digging into every single one of those. But here I will share, this is Fairfax. And we already know what Fairfax's web apps are. And let's see. Okay, so this EVA, Norfolk, I typed because I wanted Norfolk, to be able to. So this, I typed in, this was just under Google. I typed in Norfolk City Public Schools procurement and contracts. And it took me, and it told me, so these are the ones that are awarded. And you can go it's HVAC, and a lot of them, like here, it won't even tell you what it'll kind of tell you, but you have to literally tutoring services go through and see what it is. So here is Norfolk. So I'll put that in the comments. And if you're not seeing comments, it's because you need to go. The comments, I think, are going straight to YouTube. But this is Norfolk. And the same thing goes, data analytics and reporting system. Let's look at that just because data analytics. Notice of award. I am not a robot. You're going to run into this a lot with it's because they don't want you to keep going. You're going to run into a lot of, so Bright Bites is who Norfolk has a contract with. You're going to, every time you do it, you have to click on that. So this is what when they're not sole reward contracts, what it should look like is that they're going to tell you what they want, and then you have to put in parameters, and then they evaluate your application for it. But so that one caught my eye. So we know anything curriculum based. But I literally go through and I click on everything, because there's not anything that is not suspect to me. Oh, a math and reading specialist, but anything, I pulled this one up. So Naviance back to Prince William. So Naviance is one that you can go through and you can see how much it costs. Okay, I already did that. All right. we did principally. I'm going to close that out. Okay, so we did Loudon. I'm going to show you guys Chesterfield real quick. So Chesterfield, we don't have it's under our government page. And then I went and I clicked to, it took me this, oh no, sorry, contracts. Now, it's extremely annoying because, again, it's not one of those easy ones. So I just typed in social when I first started looking. And look at all that stuff under social emotional learning. Just not even social emotional learning. So this is where I first learned about Aperture, which is the one that is the big one that I've done with the shows with Deb on, because they're the ones that do the assessments that spit out whether your child is likely to have, defiant disorder, bipolar, based off of questions from the DESA Mini, Devereaux. Second step uses DESA. So does Center for Collaborative Classroom. So connecting the pieces on what, like, everybody's so focused on like second step. But what does second step do beyond social, besides SEL in the classrooms, is that you have to understand the missing piece of that is the data collection piece. And that's when you're going to so Committee for Children, anytime you see that, that is second step. Committee for Children is the nonprofit that owns the for-profit second step. So if you see Committee for Children, who does work in child abuse, why would that signal anything to you? They don't usually put second step. Anytime you see Committee for Children, who is funded by BG all the way, Center for Collaborative Classroom, Aperture, Imagine Learning, Mind Research Institute. That's a new one. You can see, so again, social emotional learning, digital curriculum for elementary mathematics, Dreambox. Theater. Yes, they have theater and art are actually two of the biggest driving forces, because they believe that theater and art especially are the two biggest ways to drive in the social emotional learning mindset because of the creativity aspect of it. So mathematics, ingenuity. So the reason why social is so important to this is because you're like, well, it doesn't say anything. Somewhere in that contract, it mentions social emotional learning, which is why all of these pop up. It's not in the title. So then you've got Lexia, No Red Ink, Achieve 3000, Apex. I would kind of use Chesterfield as the go-to because it's the only for your figuring out who's who, and I'll show you why in 1 second. Because they tell you exactly, they give you the actual full contract. And Nearpod. So it got pulled down about 2 weeks ago when I had my meeting with the school board, two of the school board, not to break the rules, and the director of constituent services. It went down for 2 days. And I was like, no, they didn't. Not only didn't know they didn't, was because I was like, they know me. And if they did that, it would be a stupid move. But, and then I emailed her and she was like, oh, it's back up. Instructure is the big one. That's Canvas. Canvas is one of those things that it's like, if you guys have parent view, student view, that is a straight up Chan Zuckerberg company. So you can opt out of parent view data collection on you and your children, but you're not going to have access to your child's information, their grades, because they're not sent home anymore. You can't Canvas. This is the big problem, is that you can opt them out of all the web app data collection, but you still have Canvas in place. And you can't opt them out of Canvas because the removal of Canvas means they get no instruction, because that's how everything is taught, is through the main platform of Canvas. So if you see in structure, it probably means Canvas, or it does mean Canvas, because the company name and the product are different. And you can't opt out of Canvas. So the limitation on, there are things that you can do, but the limitation on what you can opt your kid out of are only work so long, because you can't opt them out of Canvas, because then they don't have a platform to learn on, because there is no textbook option. There is no, can I bring my own one-to-one device? It's not there. Trust me, I tried. So Chesterfield is a wonderful one, and I'll put the link here. Now, there are plenty outside of just the word social, but just to kind of make it concise for you. So Newsella, I mean, they're pretty Major Clarity, which is one that is I found in my daughter's Chromebook that I flipped out about after I had opted her out of using Protection of People Rights Amendment. Major Clarity is the school psychologist platform for whatever they do. But so let's look at real quick. So this is what so it will look like the contract for Aperture. Now you can see this is how many commodities, how many things it covers. It's like, it's not just like, it's examination and testing. It is for credit classes, seminars, and workshops. It is in-service training for employees. So, and it goes on for pages, how many things Aperture does, special education. So that's important to look at too. And then you can also see, so the term one, that's how many years that they've re-upped the contract. Okay, so this was the initial offering, what it looked like, which is not what I want. And it has requirements. And under the requirements, it says Castle on some of them. Here's the contract. So just, and I'll post this for you guys. So just, you know, it says Aperture Contractor. And then it will go through the scope. The county shall furnish contractor upon request any information, data report. The county shall furnish the contractor information, data reports, and which are reasonably available to the county and necessary for carrying out the contractor's responsibilities, so long as the provision. But it goes on to state, it's all, none of it makes any sense, which is the problem for, then it says the contractor shall maintain full and accurate records with respect to all matters covered. Well, how are they maintaining records if they have to ask the county for the data? Oh, where is it? So here, when it says subcontract, the county reserves the right to reject any subcontractor selected by the contractor, which is what I was talking about earlier. It would be the county shall exercise this right in good faith for legitimate reason. Is that, so when they tell you that, and this is where school officials and FERPA comes in, and Obama gutting FERPA in 2008, which in 2011, which made school officials include third-party vendors. So FERPA used to say that our children's data did not go to anybody but school officials under the term that we think it to be. No, school officials now means third-party vendors, contractors, subcontractors, all this other good stuff. And it also made it parent, that they are considered parents. So when everything, all this stuff requires parental consent, and loco parentis gives the school the right to consent to all of this without you ever knowing. And it goes into, you know, but I will post this one. It's important to read. I also find it interesting that security breaches are left up to the company to report. Why do I find this so interesting? Is because in the OIG report in 2016 that the Office of Inspector General did on Virginia, there was a section that says, I cannot comment on your security breaches because you had none reported. But this past December, get this, the Virginia Department of Behavioral Health had a complete hacker break-in, whatever you want to call it. Complete data breach. Department of Motor Vehicles, same day. Complete data breach. Chesterfield County got sent home because their internet went down. And when the internet goes down, it's like the day that Facebook went down for 36 hours and everybody thought the world had ended. When there's data breaches, the internet goes down. The same exact day that the Virginia Department of Behavioral Health, okay, that's where this data is stored. The same day, Sean Smith with Chesterfield County Public Schools tried to tell us that our kids were sent home. I'm still working on how to prove this. That they were sent home because somewhere in Richmond, a coaxial cable had been cut. The same day, 3 of our major agencies had a reported data breach. Are you kidding me? So these are the contracts. I want to show you really quick. So that's Aperture. I want to show you the one that says Committee for Children, because here we go. Now there's going to be multiples of these because you got primary, you've got secondary, then you've got assessments. You've got for Aperture, they've just extended. That's the Devereaux DESA Mini that I've done shows on before. That creates this societal generational madness. But let's see, contract. So this is, again, this is where I was like, so this is for Committee for Children. Okay. And then if you go down, sorry. Oh, there it is. Second step. This is, I mean, this was months ago that I found this out. And this is where I started researching Committee for Children. Oh, okay. Committee for Children. Look them up and see who funds them. That's second step. So these contracts, again, because if you have Committee for Children or second step, and I will and you're not having the contract shared with you, I'm guaranteeing you, because they use the same formulas and whatnot. Here is what it looks like. And where's the one piece I wanted to show? That blew my mind. But anyway, so that's that one. But I want to go and I want to show you guys. Okay, so this is one for Fairfax that I wanted to show you guys. So this is the panorama. And I'll post that right here. So this is panorama. SEL Universal Screener. 3 extensions they have had. So their notice of award through the year 2026. That's just notifying their award. Oh, look. Year 1, which is already done. They paid this for just screening and interventions. Year 2, screening, diagnostic, PM interventions cohort. So now we've moved on to 76,000 more kids. That's done. So now here we are. So now this would be the, I'm guessing, the entirety of Fairfax. They started with 1 cohort, then to 2, and then to 3, then which would equal all children. $500,000. Now, only one of the cohorts is not getting the full diagnostic and everything because they're adding all that in. So, over 5 years, almost $2 million. And that's not all of it because Panorama has so many aspects that there's no way that that's just for the screener. That's just one part of it. So, and then I really want to find this. Sorry, I'm back to Chesterfield. Oh, here it is. They moved it. Okay, so for sorry to jump back to Chesterfield, but you see how many, like, it took all these clicks, and so they're telling you Google Apps, Discovery. So if you want to opt your kid out, you have to know to all HAPRA, We Videos, CK12, iCivics, Khan, Power My Learning, Clever. Clever is a big one. It's like Canvas. Kind of nothing exists without Clever. Nearpod, Vocabulary, Power School Assessment. Funny. Oh, and then keep going. Look, Edmodo. Funny that I didn't see Achieve 3000. I didn't see any of the ones that we just looked at. So it's funny that this is all that Chesterfield tells you that they are collecting data on. I don't see Lexia or any of those on here. So we'll have to ask them about that. But real quick, and then I'm going to jump off because I know sometimes I ramble and it's just so much information. And I would love for somebody who wants to actually dialogue with me about why this is so screwed up, because I know it is, you know it is. But anybody that wants to jump on with me, but I want to show you guys really quick. Okay. So I'm going to put, this is our website. And no, we are not funded by anybody. We are not backed by anybody. We're not taking government funds. We are not one of those grassroots that they call AstroTurf. We're not taking any money from anybody. So just to straighten that out, I don't get paid to do this, and neither does anybody else. So real quick, and soda layout. Oh, nope. I'm going to remove my stuff, is going to be, well, vetted by who? Do you consider Bill Gates vetted? It's one that it's kind of up in the air as to whether you believe it's vetted. But here, guys, this one's important because I put, this report shows just how much they don't care about the transparency issue in data and privacy rights, because this is issued by Miguel Cardona. And this is the letter I talked about that he issues the superintendents regarding FERPA and PPRA and best practices. This is the one that he sends Jillian Balo. This is the one that he sends your individual superintendent of your county. And so let's just click on this one real quick because I've linked it all. Ooh, where'd I go? There it goes. So this is the 2-year summary regarding local education agency website student privacy transparency reviews. Okay. I'm not going to go through it, but it's okay. Annual notice, 54%. This is nationally. Said yes. So half and half. Yes and no. Does the custom notice include the right to seek and amend those records? It 100% does, but only 79% of those who responded admitted or told or lied. Does the custom notice include the procedure for requesting amendment of those records? No, 43%. Does the custom notice include district's criteria for determining who constitutes a school official? 29% said yes. That means that means if this number was correct, 70% of each LEA, which is local, each school district, area, county, 70%, if they notified them, did not tell them that a school official was outside the parameter of what their brain would tell it was, meaning third-party vendors, contractors, etc. Oh, and then these are ways. So your student code of conduct book, read it, don't send it back. When you get your parental conduct, whatever book, don't sign it, don't send it back. But it amazes me what PPRA, 71% do not put PPRA. If you Protection of People Rights Amendment is you can ask for your child's curriculum and their teacher training material. It is in the Constitution. I was denied forthright. Boom. Nope. By Wendell Roberts, our county school board attorney, who does the FOIA, who then told me to FOIA it. Okay. So, but what I did get from it was he has about 18. I don't know if anybody's going to ever care how many civil rights, because that's violating my civil rights and my child's civil rights. You cannot deny a parent Protection of People Rights Amendment. You can, but you can't, is what I'm saying. Is that if we have to start forcing the Constitution and all that stuff to actually be something that is real, because it's the Constitution, it's the law, then, but you can file complaints. Tell them, I want my child's curriculum, teacher training material. They tell you no, say, okay, I'm adding you to, and you take the time to file civil rights complaints with MIARES and at the OCR. It's time consuming. They get away with it because we don't do anything. But this is all part of the manual. And if you go down here to this portion regarding FERPA and PPRA, it'll tell you. So PPRA is one of the first ones that I understood because I wanted to know how to get my child these surveys to stop. So the Protection of People Rights Amendment not only says that, of course, it says something different than what it used to, but okay, so PPRA is that you cannot ask a child. And so the term survey is what they're using. A survey is any open-ended question. So any topic of conversation. You cannot ask a child without political affiliations or beliefs of the student or student's parent, mental or psychological problems of the student or student's family, sex behavior attitudes, illegal, antisocial, self-incriminating, or demeaning behavior. That would be my daughter's English assignment, asking her if she thought it was okay to lie or break the law if it was for a common good. That's where this comes in and why you have to go into your child's Chromebook and find the questions and then raise holy hell. Critical appraisals of others, legally recognized privilege or analogous relationships, religious practices, income, that whole we won't even get into the drug assignment they asked my child, because I know that you guys have probably heard it a million times. But guys, all this stuff is in this on the vafcf.org site. And the hours and hours we did, and we put it together to make it work. And it's evolving. Trust me, now that I'm sitting here doing this conversation, and I'm looking at a million things that I need to. But included also too is, look, Fairfax, the only county to get it right. They have the letter to opt out of the screener. Oh, and then here's another one. Burbank. This is one that uses Aperture and DESA. And don't think that because you don't use Aperture, you don't use DESA, because Second Step uses DESA. This is an actual letter I found. Burbank sends it out to opt out of all DESA stuff. And then here's another one I found from, where is this? New York City, because New York City is the first people that blew this up. And then here's the Fairfax. So this, guys, go through it. Like, I know that you're like, oh, I know everything about data. Really, you don't. Like, I don't. Trust me, I don't. How far this goes back, and the absolute mind-blowing, I don't even know how to politely put this in, but they want to turn our children into a learning ecosystem where they no longer operate. They're distorting their reality, and it's here, it's coming, and there's nothing that we can do about it, really, until we start doing something about it. So I'm sorry that this took so long, but then again, I'm not, because I'm going to post some more good links for you. But guys, you can't will this away. If you can't afford, I can't afford. I didn't even get into Virginia Beach. But real quick, I'll show you guys, because I had to do this. Virginia Beach. All right, so. And they're easy to find too. Virginia Beach they give you a spreadsheet. And so, Savas, I think I just took a couple. Oh, that's all right. So, this was near Proud for vocabulary. So there's Virginia Beach. And then this was Spotsylvania. They at least tell you, but it's like clever Dreambox is that it's like I told them when I spoke at Moms for Liberty, is that it's not that easy. Like G Suite Google, like, okay, but what is Lexi is not that. Naviance is not, it's not that easy. It's not just like a one word. Oh, it's like Pearson. What part of Pearson? Like what Pearson? Because there's no way that they're just using 12 or 14. So, I wanted to show you guys, there's a lot I want to show you guys, but I just can't ever get quite there. But the one thing that is that, so you guys understand, I'm not making this up, is that under the Library of Virginia, you can look it up. Archives, Records, and Collection Services. This would be student cumulative file long-term documentation if you went to school post-1935. 7 scheduled retention periods, 75 years after student graduates, completes Board of Education program, transfers, or withdraws. So just so y'all don't think I made this up. And I have the whole file if y'all would like it. Just let me know. So it is this insane. And I wish it wasn't this insane, but I can't really do anything about that. But what I can do is tell you guys what to do, what you should do, and then go from there. But I wanted to show you all this. I'm going to share this. Okay, real quick. So I found this muck rock. And this person submitted. Now, this is one of those FOIA regulatory companies, muck rock. They submitted back in 2020, and they wanted every county's data privacy statement. Now, this is in 2020. So, I mean, we've got Halifax, Nottoway, all Westmoreland, Greene, Newport News, Roanoke, Danville, York. Okay. I'm going to post this. But student privacy documents. What I found funny was that what Chesterfield gave them. Knowing what Chesterfield has. And I contacted him trying to help him. Hey, can we redo this correctly? But it's literally got Lynchburg, Bedford, Waynesboro, Nelson, Martinsville, Montgomery, Highlands, Stanton, Tappahannock, Henry, Matthews. So because people aren't going to probably watch all the way to the end of this, I'm also going to post this on our page. But, oh, sorry. So just so you guys know that right there, but this guy, I'll post it here. But muck rock. Yeah. So I'm going to go because it's my husband has to work. I have to go pick up my rental car because I haven't had a car in forever. I got to put my brace back on. So I know there's a lot of information and I hope it helped, but I just know that there were a lot of counties wanting to know what their contract, what their information was. And I can't look up everybody's. I can try. I can give you the source, the resource. If you write me and tell me, hey, can you help me? I will. But guys, please, the only thing that I ask is that I give you the information, follow through, do it. Protect these kids. That's all I care about. That's all I want you to do is protect the kids. I will give you the resources, and it's not easy. Like, I can give you the information, but I can't sit and make you fill it out. I can tell you what it's going to do, but I can't make you fill it out. I can't make you fill out complaints when your school board denies you Protection of People Rights Amendment. It's time consuming, 100%. But what I do want to hope in the next week is for you to understand is the gravity of when we talk about none of this matters without data. It literally, none of it matters without data. So should data be the only piece that we're fighting? Yeah, because it's the one thing that we can unite both sides on, which is what they don't want us to do. So I'm going to post also real quick. When I agree with Elizabeth Warren and Ed Markey, it's a cold day in hell, but they have recently, and I mean like March 2022, to gaggle, bark, go guardian, and securely, which are the four big ones when it comes to this threat assessment. I'm going to share this press release that they put out, is that if I have to go to Washington and lobby with Elizabeth Warren, I will. Trust me, I will. In a second. I don't politic. So if I have to unite with a woman that I don't believe in anything, and the only reason she cares about this is because it marginalizes the transgender or the Black, brown, Latino children. Okay, I'll get behind you on that, and just, if it will get rid of the data tracking, period, I will get behind Elizabeth Warren. Read this. And then also up top, read their responses to her. But I'm going to go because I could share stuff all day. I really need to limit these, but I'll talk to you later. Bye.